So, yeah. Let's start some reads for this evening. See if this will let me do this. I am going to do my first 5 first, and then we will get down to the rest of y'all. And if you guys would like to be on the list, make sure I got my cards right side up. Just, yeah, grab your ticket. I will say, in looking at some of the vans, I like some better than others. I have almost had Miss Bernadette for an entire year. I just, with this trip, have put 10,000 miles on her. She hit 40,000 miles in White Sands, New Mexico. It was, what better place? What more magical place to hit 40,000 miles? But I didn't pay attention when I bought Bernadette. She has, so if you guys, so I busted my ass in 2022, and I wanted an amazing new car. I actually was really wanting a 4Runner, but I wanted a specific one, and they only made the specific color for a couple years because I needed a voodoo blue one if I'm going to have a 4Runner, right? Well, I couldn't find one. Not here close. Like, I would have to drive like halfway across the country or further to get what I wanted. And they're really expensive. And so I was kind of going back and forth. Well, then I found Bernadette. And for those of you guys that don't know, Bernadette is she's actually a 2020. She's not a brand new one. She's a 2020 Land Rover Discovery. She's Byron blue, and she has the adventure package and all the good things, right? So I thought, this is a perfect fucking car. I have busted my ass in 2022, and I saved up like $10,000 to put down on Bernadette. That's how I can afford a Bernadette. But, and don't get me wrong, she is absolutely kind of a bitch. Okay, I'm just saying what I'm saying, but thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. But I didn't pay attention that she didn't have a hitch on her when I bought her. I thought, you know what? Like, I grew up with a dad who always had a truck with a hitch and stuff like that, you know? So no big deal. It won't be hard to get one put on. Bullshit. I started pricing to get a trailer hitch on Bernadette because I thought, can't be that hard, right? It's hard. The first guy that quoted me $1,000, I was like, okay, you just think I'm some stupid chick that doesn't know anything, okay? The next guy quoted me $987, and the next guy quoted me like 950 something. I mean, I'm like, what in the fuck? Like, what in the fuck? So I finally get a hold of somebody at an RV place here in Tulsa, and the guy was, he quoted me like $967. And I'm like, can I ask you why is it so expensive? And he said, because of the way that Range Rovers and Land Rovers are built, they have a weird bumper that comes down, and the hitch has to be built to come down and then out. Like, they can't just go out from the back. They have to go down and then out. So it's a specialty hitch, and it takes a lot to put one on. So my dilemma became, do I get a hitch put on Bernadette, and do I get a trailer, or do I just buy an outfitted travel van? And so the signs keep pointing to travel van. And so that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll probably end up getting a hitch on Bernadette anyway. But I'm probably going to buy a van. So, yeah. All right, Miss Kathy Mazzell, you are first. These are just general reads of what's going on in your life right now. You know, I had an Aviator for a while, and I loved that car. God, that thing was massive. I really like the new Navigators as well, but yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Just Me, for subscribing. Let me scoot y'all back here so you can kind of see this a little bit. Yeah, Rovers are expensive to work on. That's why I made sure mine had a warranty. I have learned the beauty of having a car warranty. The car I had before her, well, before Lou, because I still own Lou, but um I had a Cadillac, and I fucking loved this car. I really, really miss my Caddy. But I was in the process of getting divorced, and so I wanted something that had a warranty so I wouldn't have to work on it. And even though I absolutely loved my Caddy, that thing was in the shop 8 times in 2 years. It would get stuck in sport mode, and I loved driving it in sport mode, but sometimes I didn't need to drive it in sport mode, and I couldn't get it out. And I guess it was a known problem with that year. But 8 times in 2 years, I was in a rental car or a loaner car for a week to 3 weeks. I learned the value of that. Yes, it was a big one. I learned the value of that. So there is something to be said for making sure your car has a warranty. I'm just saying. Yeah. So I had to trade her in. So yeah, I thought it was a lemon as well until I started looking into it. The 2018, 2019, and 2020 Cadillac ATS, the all-wheel drive Cadillacs, the cars, not the SUVs, all have this problem. It's a single part that is up in something in the transmission when you're shifting back and forth from sport to eco and so on. They get stuck in either eco or sport. Like, it's a known thing, and they won't do a recall on it. It was stupid. It was stupid. It was stupid. So yeah. All right, let's do some reads. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Miss Kathy, here we go. Lots of greens, like green, turquoise, green, blue. Lots of greens. Green is both a healing color, it's an analytical color, it's a color of money. That's a lot of greens, okay? You start off with the horned cactus, which is the number 29, and apparently me yawning already. Resourcefulness. I find it interesting that the first card has a 2 and the last card has a 2. Then you have Me Talks, which is repairing the body, and this is the number 39. Then you have the Moon Maiden, the Moon Maiden and New Beginnings. I'm reading as I'm wording, and it's just not working out. Then you have the Beloved, which is the number 2, and this is Radical Acceptance. So did you notice that? Did you notice? Did you notice all the greens there? Like, this one's a little bit different, but this one's a little different. Okay? So. What was that? That was a weird noise. All right. Miss Kathy, you need to change. You need to shift. Here's what's funny. This has been like an ongoing theme since I've read for you. Like, every now and then this pops up. I know you're a little stubborn. I know you're a little stubborn, but you're going to really, really have to, you're going to have to listen. Okay? Because here's the thing. You have resourcefulness, you have repairing the mind, body, and spirit, and you have new beginnings. And notice all of these colors are very similar. There's yellows and greens and blues here. So this is a lot of healing work, and this is a lot of health issues. Normally, I don't read about health issues. I try to steer clear from that. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to recommend that you please, please, please make sure that you get, kind of checked out, get a physical, etc. Just keep an eye on the Kathy meat sack. Okay? The resourcefulness, you're going to have to find special times to take care of you, because whatever it is that is going on, it's really, really stretching you to the end, to the point that you are getting a little prickly like a cactus. You're probably snapping at people, and not on purpose, not meaning to, just we all get that way when we get stretched too thin. I would also say this. You need to make sure that you are repairing some of the damage that's been done in the past for you. Which is this right here. Why am I already yawning? You need to make sure that you're repairing some of the damage that's been done in the past, okay? When the Me Talks card comes out, this is not just about repairing, you know, past traumas and shadow work and so on. This is also about repairing the stupidity that we do to ourselves, okay? And that's not just, you know, when we're 19 and we think we're invincible. This is also habits, bad habits, whether it's something physical, like, you know, I might like to eat fried shit. I love fried food. It's not good for me, but I do it because I like it a lot. Physical habits like that. It could be mental habits, such as beating the shit out of yourself mentally, or, you know, really cutting yourself down really hardcore. When the Me Talks card comes out, this is detoxing from ourself, okay? But having the Moon Maiden and the New Beginning right afterwards, this is the perfect time, especially with the 2/2 portal coming up tomorrow. This is the perfect time for you to start getting back to that drive, that push for new beginnings, to be different, to change. What the fuck? Why am I yawning so much, Kathy? Like, this is not cool. Get back to that push, that oomph, that need to change, that need to become something new, that need to be whole again. I can't think of the right words, and I hope I'm getting this across correctly, but it's not just a new beginning. It's a complete shift and change in your energy. And another yawn. Fuck me. Because this card right here, this radical acceptance card, like I said, you have the number 2 here and the number 2 here. You're going to find that, and I want to point this out again, okay? I'm going to point out all the colors again, and then look at how different that is. This is the radical acceptance card. You have a lot of healing, a lot of internal things that need to be taken care of. There's a radical acceptance that comes with this. Sometimes, especially as a parent, we get into these habits of go along to get along. We get into these habits of pushing forwards with things without really thinking about the consequences for us. So, Kathy, make sure that A, you are taking care of yourself physically, and B, you are detoxing from some of the bad habits that you have got yourself into. Okay? I have a feeling this weekend, especially because of all the 2s here, you're going to have a really interesting epiphany about something in your life. The reason I'm not pinpointing what that something is because I think that this realization has absolutely nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your family. Maybe it's something that with a friend or whatever, but it's an absolute realization. Please take care of you, Kathy, okay? That's where the base of this realization is going to be. What the fuck? All right, water. All right, Miss Kathy. Seriously, take care of you. Take care of you. You can't help anybody if you're on the floor. So, yeah. I'm going to say this as well, Kathy. Because of the Me Talks card and the new beginning, and because I said, like, I don't touch health subjects or whatever, but I will say this, myself included, a lot of people have been feeling the need to actually change bad habits and get healthier this year. Working on what you eat, working on exercise, working on drinking more water. There's never a bad time to start that. Okay? You can always start that. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Just saying what I'm saying. All right, Miss Sarah Beard, ready? Okay. Sarah, you can't have 15 cards at once. I can't read 15 cards at once. I'm good at what I do, but son of a bitch. I saw you pop out. Wow, lots of ones. Okay. So you start off with the number 19, which is spiritual narcolepsy. Then you have the number 10, which is deep diving into a task. Then you have me yawning again. The number 31, which is the universe is your partner. And then you have the number 46, which is the root girl and the disowned self. And I want you to notice the colors of this one. Very light, very dark. Very light, very dark. I want you to notice that, okay? Patterns are a thing, especially when it comes to cards. This is why I like drawing an even number of cards, because you can see a lot of the patterns. The first three of these cards have a 1 in them. 19, 10, 31. You also have a lot of red. A lot of red, a lot of yellow, a lot of orange, a lot of warm colors. Miss Sarah. Being disconnected is not a bad thing. Okay? Feeling like you're disconnected spiritually is not a bad thing. We all have to go through times of being disconnected so we can appreciate the times we are connected, okay? It's just like all the people that are like, well, you can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the good without the bad. You can't have the bad without the good. And so you have to have the disconnect to have the connect. Okay? If you never get sick, how can you appreciate being healthy? If you never see the darkness, how can you appreciate the light? We all have to have that pause. We all have to have that time where we're disconnected. It's frustrating as shit. It's frustrating as shit. But when that happens, and you're like, there you are. Woo. That's the best time possible to dive down into something physical or mental. Okay? When you're in a pause spiritually, it is a great time to start some shadow work. It is a great time to do something physical, such as start working out, start eating better. It's a great time to dive into an analytical task. It's a great time to dive into anything that is not spiritual. You see what I'm saying? It's like all of that gets paused, and now you have all of this over here that you can do. So whatever it is you've been thinking about, whether it's a hobby you've been thinking about getting back to, figuring out a way that I won't yawn during every read, like that's really what needs to happen there. But start deep diving into whatever it is that's been on your mind lately. You're going to find out really quickly that it's the perfect time for it. You're also going to find out really quickly that the universe has been giving you all of these signs to start this deep dive. And as you make this deep dive, it's almost like every time you go down a step, you discover that there's 30 more steps in a good way, like in an exciting way, not just 3 steps and you're at the bottom. Like in a good way, like the view is fantastic from these steps. The other thing about having issues being connected spiritually is this. This is the root girl and the disowned self. When we get disconnected spiritually and we start a deep dive down a topic or subject, a habit, a hobby, whatever, we find out really quickly that there's a lot of us that's gotten all fucked up as we've gone on our spiritual path. It happens, okay? It's just like cleaning out your closet, like spring cleaning. You have to have the disconnect. You have to have the deep dive so you can see what has to be cleared out. But if you have ever cleared out your closet or cleared out a room and rearranged the room, you know damn well you find all of this stuff in there that you forgot you had. So as you're going through this pause and as you're going through this deep dive, you're going to find all of this stuff you forgot you had, whether it's that you forgot you started this hobby, this habit, whatever it is, and you're going to feel really disconnected as you go through and you're like, oh my God, I forgot I had this, did this, etc. It's perfectly normal. So don't get super upset. Don't get super upset. Okay, Miss Sarah? Just be disconnected for a little bit. It's okay. Being disconnected is going to help you feel more connected whenever you get back on your spiritual path. I mean, getting back on your spiritual path is probably not the right word. Whenever you start going down your path again, because it's not that you get off of it when you have this pause. We all have to have a pause. We all do. We all have to have a time when we feel disconnected. We all have to have a time where we feel like we're not going forward like we should. And it's not just a plateau. It's a straight up paused. A straight up pause. We have to. And if you come across somebody, I don't care how long they have been on their spiritual path, if you come across somebody, and this is for all of you, that ever says they never have any tough aspects in their spiritual path, they never have a pause, they never feel disconnected, any of that, they are lying through their face, or they have always been in a pause and they don't know any different. Okay? Just want you to remember that, Sarah. I saw somebody ask about if sage clears all of the energies out of a space. Yes and no. Any type of sage, not just dragon's blood, not just blue sage, whatever. Any type of sage. And there are like 500 different varieties of sage, y'all. It creates a vacuum. So it pushes the negative out while pulling the positive in. It does like this, okay? It creates a vacuum. What completely clears all of the energy in a space is Yerba Santa. Yerba Santa is like a nuke, okay? So if you have good entities, grandma, grandpa, Aunt Josephine, whoever, in your space, and you want to clear everything out, start from ground zero, here's what I recommend, okay? go ahead and clear everything with Yerba Santa. I need to do a video on this because I have printed out things at the shop about how to do this. I always preemptively apologize, you know, like to my ancestors and stuff, like, hey, like, I'm just gonna kick everybody out. It's kind of like when you're about to mop the floor in a room, like, nobody's allowed to come in here. I'm mopping the floor. You can come back in a little bit when it's dry. I kind of make that apology like, you know, I'm gonna kick you out for a minute, but I'll invite you right back in, because how I was taught to do it growing up was to clear the place with Yerba Santa first and then go back through with sage. And then go back through with sage, because that just pulls everything back in. So yeah. But I'll make a video about it. Okay? I'll make a video about it. And then I'm going to drop half my cards. Yerba Santa is not Palo Santo, no. Yerba Santa is a plant. It's a leaf, so you buy it in a bundle like sage, cedar, etc. Whereas Palo Santo is a wood. Palo Santo is used to dedicate a space as a holy space. So when you're using Palo Santo, and I know that that's very Oklahoman, how it comes out of my face, and it is what it is. But when you're using Palo Santo, that is to dedicate that space as a holy space for you. Okay? Yeah, I dropped half the deck. I do have it at my shop, yes. I carry 15 or 20 different bundles of sage, types of sage. Let me say it that way. Desert sage, by the way, y'all, for y'all that have migraines and headaches, desert sage is fantastic to help with that. Yeah, just saying what I'm saying. So yeah, I'll do a video. So yeah. All right, Miss Gail, you are next, love. There you are. So I'm going to show you the first and the last card because I want to point out something. Thank you, Miss Gail. I want to point out something. So this is the furthest gate. This is a bold step forward. And I want you to notice that this is stepping into a valley, stepping into a canyon, stepping into something amazing, right? This is the last card, but I want you to know, to look at this. This literally is like the shape of that. Is it not? So this is a completion. This is something completed. Okay? You start off with a bold step forward. Then you have the Magician's Sword, which is confidence in your own magic. Then you also have spiritual narcolepsy. And then you have the Watchers, which is transpersonal. And like I said, that literally looks like it fits right in there. Like, I wish I could just transpose them together. I mean, there's obviously a little more of a dip right there, but it's pretty fucking close. There's not really any number significance here, except that the very first one is the number 55. So I'm going to actually start off by talking about this second card right here, because I don't know who has kind of deflated your confidence a little bit lately, but they need a square kick in the ass. Even if it's you. Seeing this sword here and this confidence card, especially after the bold step forward, there is something very big either currently on your plate or about to be on your plate. And this is not just big as in like, you know, something heavy that your boss wants you to do or your family or whoever. This is like a huge decision. That's what this represents. A huge decision. Do you do this and grow, or do you stay where you are? If your confidence is not on point, chances are you're going to say, you know, I'm not going to step forward with this. I'm just going to stay here. And unfortunately, I really feel like somebody has really kind of eroded your confidence lately. And like I said, I don't know if it's you or if I'm just trying to like just incinerate myself with this heater here or what's going on. I don't know if it's you, or I don't know if it's something that's happened, or if it's somebody. And if it's somebody, then like everybody in this chat is going to come for them. So, you know, listen, don't let them get to you. But I've got to pull my legs up for this one. Like we got to chat. But this is a huge step forward. It's a huge step forward. Bigger than I would normally say because of that last card and how they look like they fit together. It is going to require you to kind of take a step back from your spiritual path, or a pause on your spiritual path. Just kind of step over to the side for a minute in the clearing there and take a breather on your spiritual self, because all of this stuff over here has to happen one way or another. You have to make a decision. You either are going to move forward with this plan, or you are going to back off and let it go. I personally would advise to move forward with it because of the confidence card there, the spiritual narcolepsy, and the watchers card. Now, here's what I'm going to say too. With this decision, I don't feel like it's something that someone's going to pressure you on a moment-to-moment basis. Do this, do this, do this. You know, are you going to do this? What's your decision? What's your decision? I don't think that's the case. However, I do think that there is an urgency either in you to make the decision or around you with it. Take your time, but don't take too long. I know normally I'll tell people like, hey, take all the time that you can because it's definitely hindering your spiritual. Okay, gotcha. Take the time you need to fully make the decision, to fully look at everything, but don't take too long, because this is something that if you don't grab hold of it and go forward with it, it will move on to someone else. It will move on to another company, another person. It will move on, okay? So they'll wait a little bit because you are the first choice. But don't push too long with it. It is going to require you to take a step back from from pushing forward on your spiritual path. It doesn't mean to stop your spiritual path. It just means to take a guided break. There we go. Okay, if that makes sense. Because this card right here is really important. With this bold step forward, with this decision, it does a couple of things for you. One, it moves you forward in a way that I don't think you realize you can move forward yet. One of those things where you start to move forward and then, you know, months down the road, you're like, oh my fucking God, like I had no idea, blah, 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 blah. But the other thing is this. By watching all of the things around you, the people, the signs, the serendipity, by watching that as you move forward with this, it's going to rocket you forward when you're ready to get back on your path. I'm about to sneeze. I can feel it coming. Bless me. What's funny is this. We all go through times where we feel like we're not moving forward on our spiritual path at all. And so, depending on how stubborn you are, sometimes we get stuck on this thing and we're like, you know what? Fine. If you don't want me to move forward, I'm not going to move forward at all. I'm just going to be over here and I'm going to watch this and I'm going to do that. And, you know, fuck you. We kind of get in that mode, you know? And then we have this it first starts as jealousy in a way, because we look at other people and we're like, God, like they just started their spiritual path and they're already doing this or this or this. Or we see something else and we just get a little jealous because, you know, this person is doing that and I want to do that. And then suddenly one day we have this epiphany and we're like, I've already done all that. I've already done all that. Not only have I already done all that, but now it's time for round 2 and I can do it again and do it even better. That's where this is going to be. This like round 2 aspect. So once you have this pause and once you move forward with whatever this physical thing is that has nothing to do really with your spiritual path, that's when this like this second wave, this fresh breath of everything comes in. And you're going to look around and see all of the serendipity, all of the signs, all of the interconnectivity. Are you guys going to yawn? All of those things. It's like everything being discombobulated at first. And then suddenly it's like you get to look at it from the top and see all of the connectivity underneath. You know those art pieces that when you look at them one way, it looks like a straight line or it looks like a jumble, and then you go to turn and you see the whole design of the sculpture? That's exactly what this situation is. That's exactly what this situation is. So whatever this opportunity is, I would recommend taking it. Okay? But don't rush forward with the decision, and take your time as you make it and as you go forward with this decision. Take your time with it and look around and watch literally everything. Even if you feel like none of this shit matters and none of this shit matters, neither one of them ever come together. How are you going to mess this with this? You're going to see in the end, as you get the whole view, that everything has just made the most beautiful pattern and, you know, geometry, whatever it is you want to look at. Look at it as. Words are not my friend. I hope this makes sense. Hope this makes sense. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah. Self-taping your eyelids to stay awake. You are so funny. You are so funny. We got you, Nakia, honey. No problem. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I promise. I promise. Okay, good. I'm glad it does make perfect sense. Yeah. But look at every weird thing that happens, like a piece of one of those sculptures that from one side, it looks like a pile of fucking trash. And then when you go around to the side, you see the art piece. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. Sometimes we come in and we come in on a reading that may not be ours, but it resonates. You were meant to hear it too. Another reason why you guys' ripples matter more than you know. Thank you for that, Miss Gail. Gail obviously needed an answer to a question, and her reading was timed exactly when it was timed. So those of you guys that needed to hear that message were here exactly when you needed to hear that message. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. These are Magic Boba. Why? Oh, that's pieces of peach down there. I was like, why are there those things? But yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Miss Sadie. You ready? All of my times are Central Time right now. But they should automatically translate to whatever time zone you are in. Hey, Sadie. Hey, Miss Kathy. I finished yours. You were first on my list. And I am live on YouTube, so you can go and watch it. Thank you guys for all the welcome home wishes. Took me a minute to get your cards there, Miss Sadie. Well, you start with a 6 and you end with a 6. Okay. So you start off with the Winter's Dream, which is a gestation period. Then you have the Wailing Tree, which is reconciliation. I almost said recognition. Reconciliation. Then you have the Dream Thief, which is the refusal of the call. And then you have Whale Song, which is resonating. Okay. The first card you have, this is the number 63, and this is the number 61. Get them all lined back up, all purty. Normally, I would say you're in a holding pattern, but I don't think that that's it because you start with this gestation period. I have a feeling you're coming out of this cocoon of this gestation period. You're coming out of this pause. I have a feeling that you already feel this energy, and it's like it's like some weird built up excitement that's in there. Anticipation is a better word, not excitement. It's a built up anticipation. You've been in this holding pattern for a while. I don't think that you even realize how long this holding pattern has been. And I probably shouldn't say holding pattern because you've literally been in a cocoon. In coming out of this gestation period, out of this hold, you have all of these things that are going to start reconciling themselves together. I don't believe for 1 second. What did I miss? I'm like, what did I miss? I looked up and it's like, oh, what did I miss? So these reconciliations are like things suddenly falling into place. Okay? Does that make sense? Oh, gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all my amazing mods there. Had an interesting person just follow me there. Excuse me for fixing all of my stuff. That, you know, there's some of those ones that come in that are like Dr. Ooga Booga, Love Dr. Ooga, whatever the fuck. It was like that, but it was really odd. It was really odd. So I went ahead and blocked that one because I can smell a scammer at this point. Anyway, Miss Sadie, all of these things that are going to start reconciling. It's like watching all the puzzle pieces finally fit into place. But here's the thing. You've been, this refusal of the call right here. The refusal of the call right here. As all of these things are going to fall into place and start doing, doing this, all the puzzle pieces come together, there's going to be something. I don't know if you've already agreed to do this, if you've agreed to walk down this path, if you've agreed to take this job, or it's something that you've already said yes to. As you start seeing all of these things come into place, you're going to realize that you can't do that. Whatever it was you said yes to, I have a feeling in your gut when you said yes to it, you were like, I don't think this is the right decision, but it's a great opportunity. And so you said yes. But I think that more and more and more I'm going to say really in the next week and a half to 2 weeks, you're going to start seeing all of these things that are like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And you're going to have to make the decision to back out. You're going to have to make the decision to say no. And it's going to suck because there are going to be some people that get really, really angry about you backing out of this. I don't know what this is, if it's taking some classes, going back to school, or if it's a new job, or I don't know what this is, but in trying to back off of it and say, hey, I gave it some thought and I can't do this, just know there are going to be people that are pissed off about it. It is what it is. There are going to be people that are pissed off about it. But I want you to notice this. I want you to notice that all of the colors are kind of interesting, like dark pinks and reds. You see what I'm saying? Like you come out of this pink and then you're going into this dark red, dark pink, etc. And then when you decide, hey, I can't do this anymore, these are colors of action, of moving forward, of passion. When you decide, no, I can't do this, it's not for me, I want you to notice the difference there. You go from this movement, this passion, this drive to calm. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And when you say no, and when you say that I know I said yes, that I will do this, but I really just can't. When that happens, you are going to find out just who is really on your side or not. And unfortunately, that's not a rare thing anymore. We tend to find out who our friends are a lot. The one thing I love too that I'm looking at is, you see the big spiral, the big circle up here. There's not really one in here, but there is in here, and there is in here. It's like things coming full circle. Whoops, wrong one. Sometimes we know in our gut when we're not supposed to do something and we do it anyway. We know when we're supposed to say no, but we say yes. And a lot of times it may be just to learn to trust our gut. It may be just to hold that space so we can get our shit together. Does that make sense? I had to pause for a minute because I was trying to think of the right way to words it. And I saw your comment, this will be interesting. It will be interesting. This will also be really interesting. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does this make sense? Miss Jean Marie, you are next. Thank you, Miss Sadie. Hello in Argentina. You are so welcome, sweetheart. I'm happy I can help in any way. Okay, you want that card. You want that particular card. I got you. I got you. What is up with that? That's weird. That made no sense. That makes no sense. My list is weird. All right. All right, then. Weird. And that changed again. Okay, I'm just going to stop trying to figure this out because it's being a butt. Miss Jean Marie, save me from my computer being a butt. And this one fell on top of it like this. Okay. Got you. So you start off with the Will-O-The-Wisp, which is, oh, Advisor Kim, honey, I hope you have the day you deserve, sweetheart. You start off with the Will-O-The-Wisp, which is treasures hidden in the shadows. Then you have the Drifter, which is experiencing life as it comes. And then you have the Benefactor, which is grace and generosity. But on top of that fell this, just exactly like this. This is the vanishing mirror and getting rid of the ego. Being that it fell on top of these two, we're going to leave it there. When I see the Will-O-The-Wisp card and it starts off as the very first card in a reading, it tells me that there's a lot of deep shadow things that are coming out lately where you're looking around and going, wow, that was some major intense shadow work. You're finding yourself in situations that normally would have triggered the shit out of you that suddenly aren't. There's just so much that comes from us doing shadow work for a long period of time, and we don't ever see all of the benefits of it until we're in the moment and it's happening. And then we have those epiphanies where we're like, holy shit, like I really have healed some trauma by doing this. The thing about it is this: you have two different areas of you that are about to kind of come together. One is being a drifter and just experiencing life as it comes and just, you know what? Okay, this is what we're doing today. Cool. I'll go along with it. When we're drifting along and really trying to, you know what? Like, I'm cold and I want the heater on, but at the same time, it's making my eyes like dry as fuck. So I don't know what the answer is here. When we just go with the flow way too much, and when we have this personality of being very generous and being a people pleaser, we end up getting complete advantage taken of us. Complete advantage taken of us. And I have a feeling that that's where you've been for a while. There's not really any repeating numbers in here. In fact, you literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. You're missing the number 7. But that grace and generosity and experiencing life as it comes work together hand in hand. Then you have this card on top of them. And that is the disappearing ego. With all of these interesting things that you're finding out about yourself as you've done shadow work for so long, it's all going to start popping up. And I would guarantee you in the next 3 weeks, you're going to have smack in the forehead after smack in the forehead after smack in the forehead with, oh my God, I really did have a big problem with that. I really did heal from that. Do you see what I'm saying? When we start doing a lot of shadow work, we have these moments where we look around and we're like, man, I am fucked up. Or I was fucked up. Because when we start doing shadow work and we start realizing that we're healing from some of this trauma, we see how fucked up we actually were. Okay? Right? I'm sorry I had to pause there, Jean Marie. I don't care how you're trolling about stuff. And most of the time I can just ignore shit. But let me say this. Don't come into any of my lives, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube, and make a juvenile threat of do this or I will do something to myself. Don't do that to me. I will report you every single time. I will screenshot your account. I will report you. And it won't be a good thing. Here's why. I take those kind of things super, super seriously. Super seriously. In no way is that something to joke about. In no way is that something to come in and put on someone else. And in no way is that a behavior that should be condoned. It's wrong on so many fucking levels. And if that is how you feel about your life, I would recommend that you call the suicide prevention hotline and speak to somebody. And if you feel that that is okay to make a joke about that, I would highly recommend that you find someone to speak to. Not only is that inappropriate, but it is extremely, extremely offensive to me personally. I have lost a friend to something exactly like that. If you don't date me, then I don't want to be here anymore. And they're not here anymore because of a girlfriend in high school. It's not funny, and I take it seriously. So I did screenshot your account, and I did report you. And my friend, you need some help. Okay? Just saying. I'm just saying. Miss Jean Marie, a lot of your heavy ego aspect that we all carry from the time that we are little up till when we're a teenager, we get to that point from the time we're about 12, 13 to about 17, 18, where we're like, oh my God, I know fucking everything. And then we're in our early 20s, we do know everything, like we know everything. And then we get onto this other aspect and we're like, oh, okay, maybe I don't know everything. It's like we start to hit this peak and about 25 or so, we start to realize, okay, maybe I don't know everything. And so we start to come back down. And then in our mid 30s, then we start to realize that maybe, just maybe, some of the older people in our life maybe kind of knew what they were talking about. And then we get into our 40s and we realize that they had no fucking idea what they were talking about either. They were just making shit up and some of it hit, you know? So that's where you're at. You're at that point of losing a lot of that ego aspect with just regular human growth, adult growth. Okay? The older you guys get, the more you're going to realize that you don't know shit. And the times that you go, oh my God, I actually know something, something else is going to come along and knock your feet right out from under you. So just know, Jean Marie, that there's a lot of things coming up, especially in the next 3 weeks, that are going to show you where you've been doing so much amazing work on yourself that all of that ego is starting to just fall away, spread away. This is why a lot of older people, when you see older people, especially, 60s, 70s, 80s and up, it's not just having memory issues that make it to where they don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. It's getting older to the point that you realize you don't have to give a fuck what other people think. You don't have to give a fuck what other people think. You can dress how you want to dress. You are how you are. So don't stress about feeling disconnected from people that you used to be around all the time, Jean Marie, okay? Because we outgrow people all the time. People outgrow us. It's just part of maturing and being an adult. And the wonderful thing about that too is that as you grow and as you mature, you come up with some much better trolling than just some of the things that come across my screen. I'm just saying what I'm saying. All right. Miss Caitlyn, you are next. You are welcome, Gina. I love that it's chicken. Oh my God. So, Tam, shadow work is actually a psychological method of taking the darker aspects of yourself and healing them so they can be brought into the light and brought into you as a whole. So if you guys do not know what shadow work is, or you would like to learn more about it, I don't have time to go through an entire thing about it right now. So you have homework. If you want to know what it is, all you have to do is Google shadow work on Google, but make sure that you put Carl Jung in there as well, and that's Jung. Carl Jung was a famous psychologist back in the 60s, and he founded the term shadow work. So, yeah, that is your homework. All right, Caitlyn, here we go. Let's see here. Better. All right. Carl Jung, Jung. Miss Caitlyn, you start off with deep quiet, which is meditation and stillness. Then you have the lost compass, which is getting back to integrity. Then you have the cosmic womb, which is the divine feminine. I love this card, but I hate that some of them are so pale, like you can't even really see what it is. So that sucks. Then you have the fool's embrace, which is transmuting pain. The important numbers I want to point out is that this one right here starts with 11 and it ends with 22. So literally doubling itself. Okay? Yes, yes, Josh, The Psychic Witch. It's by Matt Aaron, and I think it's Aaron. Aaryn, I think. Just so you know. But that is a really fantastic book as far as boosting your clairs. All right, Miss Caitlyn. You're fixing to go through a really deep pause. And it's like, let me say this, it's a superficial pause, okay? When we go through a period of meditation and stillness, it's one of those periods where we just don't really want to talk to people. We just don't really want to talk to people. I went through that a little bit the first of this year. We all go through it all the time, where instead of being our normal self, our outgoing self, our talking self, whatever, we get in this habit. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to boil if I do. So we're just going to put the Ouija board blanket on, my little feet. I got used to being in places where it was warm at night, but no, it has to be in the 30s here because it's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. Okay, anyway, I'm done bitching. I'm done bitching. Okay, I'm not done bitching because now I got to tuck my feet in. Fucking cold. All right. Done. Okay. We go through these periods of just quiet. And we all go through them. Everybody goes through them. This is why sometimes, your significant other, your kid, your best friend, whatever, they can just be quiet for a little bit. And then you ask them what's wrong and they're like, nothing. I just don't feel like talking. We all have to go through intense periods of just quiet, just being still, just listening, just existing. And that's where you're at right now, Caitlyn. I have a feeling you're going into that. So let's talk about these two middle cards, because this is what happens when we go through a period of really intense stillness. We start to turn back to some of the good things that we used to do. The wonderful thing about quiet and stillness is that we usually don't slide back into a lot of bad habits, because as we're being still and as we're being quiet, we start to see some of the things that we were doing that either had got us off our path or that they weren't for us. So we start to come back to the integrity of the energy, the path, the movement, all of the things that were getting us where we were supposed to go. And when we start to get back to that integrity, that's when we get into this divine phase of ourselves. For you, it's going to be an amazing divine feminine stage. Divine feminine stages, it doesn't matter who you are. We all go through divine feminine and divine masculine stages. Divine feminine stages can come in a few different forms. And I'm just going to say that because of this last card, this Fool's Embrace, the transmuting pain, I'm willing to bet part of my booty that this is going to be a dark divine feminine, like a divine villain phase for you here. And here's why I'm going to say that. Wow. You may see that. I don't know what the fuck accent that was. It just came out of my face. The Fool's Embrace, transmuting pain. That happens when we take a whole bunch of bullshit that we've been holding on to and we transform it into something fucking epic. All of those times when you see somebody that's going through a really bad breakup or a really bad divorce and you don't hear from them for a few weeks or a month, and then all of a sudden you see them and they look fucking epic. They've changed their hair, they've lost weight, or they've gained weight, or they've bulked up, or whatever it is. They just look fucking fantabulous. And they have leveled up. Like, that's where you're about to be. That's where you're about to be. You got to kind of go through the quiet phase first, and that's fine. Woo! But I'm just going to say, Miss Caitlyn, in a month or so, I don't know that you're going to recognize yourself, because this is a completely, you have 11 and then 22. Be that divine feminine, be that divine villain, be that dark feminine era, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to say this because here's the thing that people struggle with when they start to go through a divine feminine or a divine masculine era, okay? And that is the idea that they might not be the good person in a story. No matter what point of your life you are in, you are already the villain in someone else's story. You are. You are. As a little kid, you annoyed somebody and they didn't like you. As a teenager, you annoyed somebody and they didn't like you. As an adult, you annoyed somebody and they don't like you. Whether you've broke up with somebody and broke their heart and you are the Wicked Witch of the West, or whether you and your boss didn't get along and you quit and he talks about how you were the worst employee ever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You are already, and you will be forever, the villain in someone else's story. You already have that energy. But the thing is this, you are also the hero in a different person's story. Okay? So don't get too upset about being that dark, divine feminine. Don't be too upset about entering into your villain era. We all need to go through it, and we all need to experience that growth that comes along with it. Okay? I hope that helps, Miss Caitlyn. All right, Miss Tiffany Merriman, you are next, my dear. Good. I'm so glad. I'm glad. All right, all right, all right. Thank you guys for all the new follows. I really appreciate it. Okay. Miss Tiffany, you start off with the number 22 and the Fool's Embrace, which is transmuting pain. Then you had these two cards come out together like this. Whale Song and Resonating is on top. And then the Refusal of the Call and the Dream Thief is underneath. Maybe you need some villain coaching. And then you have the number 17, which is Intentionality and the Eye of the Needle. I love you right back. Y'all, for those of you guys that are younger and you have never fucked up your sciatic nerve and then driven for 2 weeks almost on a daily basis, 4 to 5 hours a day, consider yourself lucky, because I am in the need of a good massage for my sciatic nerve again, because it ain't being nice to me right now. That's why I keep fidgeting and doing all the things. Anyway, Miss Tiffany, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're hurting right now. I really am. When I see this right here, this is a really, really deep, hardcore pain. And I'm sorry that you're going through this right now. I hope that you are taking some of this pain and transmuting it into something amazing. We all have to deal with pain throughout our lives. And we all have to transmute it into something. Whether it's more pain, whether it's trauma, whether it is just pushing it down into a little box. We all have to deal with it in our lives. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with it right now. The good thing that comes with this, with pain, is that we start to see sign after sign after sign, and we start to see all of these other aspects where, I knew I was going to yawn. All of these things suddenly just seem to fit together. And when they suddenly seem to fit together, and we're like, holy shit, how did I not notice that? How did I not notice? How did I not notice that? You know, all those things. It's like we took off the rose-colored glasses and we're seeing every single one of those shitty things. That's when this comes in. And that is saying, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. I see all the bullshit. I see all the red flags. And even though I have glossed over them till now, I am no longer glossing over those red flags. Absolutely not. And then we start acting very, very intentionally with where we're going and what we're doing. Really? So the thing is, Miss Tiffany, I'm sorry that you're dealing with all of this right now. I really, really am. And I want you to notice this. I want to see if you guys notice it. You noticing it yet? Tell me when you see it. Tell me when you see it. Circles. Circles. Full circle. And I was waiting. Full circle. Every one of these has a full circle. So all of this pain that you're going through and all of these epiphanies that are going to happen and the, God damn it, telling people just to fuck off, that you're not going to do this, you're not going to go anywhere. You see what I'm saying? Every single thing is going to come full circle with you acting very intentionally and being able to go back through and fix a lot of these aspects that have caused this pain and this issue. What's interesting when we have a time where we have to transmute this pain is that it forces us to grow. It forces us to walk away from negative bullshit. It forces us to be a completely different person. Completely different person. A stronger person, a taller person, a more connected person. Like, it forces us to be a better version of ourselves. Okay? Don't forget that, Miss Tiffany. Okay? All right. Miss Janelle. Hey, Evie. I didn't see a live. Were you one of the ones that was scheduled on the 27th? If so, I had 2 of you guys, and I'm just going to go ahead and refund you for that, so that way you guys can get on another list. You're welcome very much. It's on my to-do list for tomorrow. I haven't forgotten. I just got home way later yesterday than I expected to. All right, let me see what's going on right here. So for those of you guys that are still waiting on my list, I am streaming live on YouTube, so you guys can watch it whenever you would like. And I only had a couple of tickets left, and I went and turned them off, so that way we can all get some sleep this evening. Let me get my list back in order here. There we go. So if you guys have a read tonight and your eyeballs are not wanting to stay awake, no worries, okay? You can totally watch it on YouTube tomorrow. You are so welcome, Miss Evie. Get some sleep, okay? Get some sleep. So, yeah. I decided I was sick of trying to download things from YouTube. Not YouTube, excuse me, from TikTok. I don't know what's going on, but I can't seem to download anything lately. It'll download half of it, or it'll download a part or something, and it's just irritating the shit out of me. So I'm just going to restart going live on YouTube as well at the same time. So it is what it is. I'm still trying to download some of the ones from when I was gone, but I can't guarantee anything. Good night, Cherie. All right. Miss Janelle. You start off with Crown Games and the Right Use of Power. Then Joyful Music and Inspiration. Then the Cosmic Womb and the Divine Feminine. And then the Feast of Plenty and Choices and Their Consequences. That is the weirdest sounding motorcycle. It sounds like a fly. That is the weirdest sound. You know when you hear a fly and it's like, you hear that sound? Yeah, that's what I just heard, but I know it was like a street bike on down out there somewhere, but it literally sounded, that was like, all right then. All right, Janelle. Honey, you have way more power in the situation right now than you realize you do. Okay? Because this right use of power right here, you literally hold all the cards. You hold all the cards. I don't know if you just don't realize that you do, or if somebody's telling you that you have no personal power. I don't know, but you literally hold every bit of the power. Every fucking bit of it. I'm hoping that this card right here means that me telling you this is the inspiration for you going, oh my God, I totally do. Because 33 is a good number. When we hold all of the power in a situation, a lot of the times we don't know we do. And usually there's somebody else in the situation that wants to make sure we know we are less than they are. They are working really hard right now, Janelle, to make sure that you know that you are less, that you are way down here on the totem pole, that they are up here and you are down here. Because you are actually the one with the fucking power. And if they can't keep you down like that, then you're going to realize that, oh my God, I have the power and I don't have to be in this situation. You can either quit that job or that relationship or walk away or friendship or whatever it is. You guys y'all need to realize you are the one that holds the personal power in your own life, in situations. You can walk away from a situation. If you find yourself in a job, in a relationship, in a friendship, in whatever, and you realize, like, I really don't like this. I don't like this person. I don't like this job. I don't like whatever it is. You literally can walk away from it. I mean, you can find another job. You can find another significant other. You can find other friends. You can literally walk away. You are the one that holds the key to that. Thank you for the fireworks, Josh. When you get this inspiration that you do hold all the power, it's time for you to really pay attention and look at it, mull it around, decide what is the best course of action for you. And I want you to notice that, in this one, there's, the head and the hands. And in this one, there's the cute little kitty cat who's painting while he's playing a violin. But here is where things start to be circles. Circles are super, super important because they are very protective. And they also mean that there is no beginning and no end to the energy, that everything is continuing to go how it's supposed to go. But this is also the most important card in all of this, because as you're trying to decide where you go, what you don't do, what you do, etc., that's when this card comes in. And this is choices and their consequences. So before you make a decision on how to move forward, after you say, you know what, I'm done with this bullshit over here and I want to do it anymore. When you decide that you are moving forward in a different way, you need to weigh the choices and the consequences of it. For example, if you are dating so-and-so, but you really want to date their best friend so-and-so, what are the consequences of you dumping this person and dating this person? Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, it may not be as black and white as that, but you need to really pay attention and look at what all of the different choices and consequences are for every single aspect that you can before you make a decision. But Miss Janelle, you hold every fucking bit of the power. And I want you to notice the colors in this card. See the boldness and the richness of these colors? Look, every other color is very light and very pastel. You hold all the power. Just saying. You hold all of the power. Make sure that you look at every aspect of things, as many aspects as you can, before you make a decision on where you're going from here. Okay? Okay? Just saying what I'm saying. All right. Woo, okay. I'm just dropping all the cards tonight. It is what it is. Miss Lisa, you are so welcome, Miss Janelle. I didn't even see that you were here. I'm glad you were. Hey, Lando. We were talking about you earlier. You're here lurking. You are so funny. Hey, Lady Rose, if you were one of the readings for the 27th, I only had a couple of you guys. Would you please send me a message? But it's on my list tomorrow just to get you guys refunded. So that way you don't have to worry about it. All right. We ready, Lisa? Wow, you can't make this shit up. You start off with a tidy house, which is clarity and organization, and the number 1. Then you have in your hand, the universe is your partner, and the number 31. Then you have the crown games, which is right use of power, and number 8. Then you have group think, which is being mindful, and that is the number 40. God damn, that scared the shit out of me. Don't you love it when that happens? It was my low alarm, so I'll eat some boba. I've been so jumpy since I got home. Brandon, not sleeping here. Yeah, you don't sleep when that thing goes off. That's fucking sure. Oh, thank you, Lady Rose. Thank you, Cheryl. Now is absolutely the time to be cleaning house. It is absolutely the time to be cleaning house, Miss Lisa, because with the big shift that you just went through, and with 2-2 being tomorrow and then 2-4 being on Sunday, that is a lot of harmony and balance that you can get going, and that is a lot of getting ready for success to come. It is absolutely the weekend to be gaining a lot of clarity, gaining a lot of organization, moving a lot of shit out of your path. The thing about the universe being your partner, you're going to find that A, pretzels are fantastic, but B, when we release ourselves from a situation where we are overly worried about someone or something else, such as a relationship, such as a shitty job with a hateful boss, when we release ourselves from that situation, especially when we have seen the signs that we didn't need to be there for a while, it's like the universe goes, oh my God, you finally listened. Here's all these things. I've been holding these for you. Here they are. You know, like when you finally reach a mature point in your life and your grandparents or your parents or whoever start to give you things, they're like, I feel like you're mature enough to handle this now. That's exactly what's about to happen. Now, I will say this. With this card being third, once you start to get all of these things being handed back to you again and starting to feel like A, you're moving on the right path, B, you've been making the right decisions, and C, the universe is really, really making sure that you're taken care of, your own confidence in where you are and who you are and where you're going is going to not only go through the roof, but you're going to have to make sure that you don't allow it to sink in, you know what I mean? Puff the chest up a little too much. I have a feeling that you're going to start getting a lot of opportunities just falling in your fucking lap. Especially because of this. This is groupthink and being mindful of everything else around you. Don't be surprised if you start getting back in touch and in tune with other people, with groups, with situations, with friends, whatever, that you had left behind because of that situation. Okay? When we rid ourselves of, notice I said rid this time instead of release. When we rid ourselves of a situation and we're cleaning and organizing and the universe is like, thank fucking God, here's all these things. I'm eating. It is what it is. Y'all just ignore the trolls. Because here's the thing. They're pushing me up in the For You page. And you know what? If they can't come with any better trolling than that, you know, it is what it is. Because especially being the fact that I've been a writer since 1996. I've written over 200 books, and I have my work used in U.S. patents over virtual character design for video games. And someone to speak incorrectly with grammar that makes no sense and no punctuation and yelling in a chat. It's very hard for my inner grammar Nazi not to point that out. But I won't, because I'm a nice person. So, Miss Lisa, you're going to start being around a lot of the same people that pushed you forward on your path before. It's just going to show you that the universe has been there waiting for you all along. All along. You just needed to pause and hang out and see the bad so you can see the good again. I did see your comment. I did see your comment. Congratulations. I hope that makes sense, love. And for somebody to ask, yes, I am diabetic, and yes, my sugar is crashing, but pretzels love me, and I love them right back. Good. I'm so, so, so glad. All right. Here are the last few people on my list. You guys ready? I have Sarah Kidder, Randy Robinson, Suzanne Horn, Mary Amon. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, Miss Mary, I'm sorry. Laura Webster, Miss Abracadabra, Caroline Struber, and Misty Herring. Those are the only people on my list. My list is closed for this evening, just so you guys know. Just so you know. All right. Miss Sarah Kidder. I have tried pretzel crackers. I have to be careful because I love carbs. Thank you for the corgi butt, Miss Lisa. I have to be careful because I love carbs, and if I keep them in the house too much, that's all I want to eat. So, yeah. Yeah, you probably better sleep, Miss Monique. Oh, my God. So what's funny about being in my TikTok account is that sometimes I see the comments come across the top, not here on the live, but for a video. And I don't know what video it was on, but God, I can't wait to go and look, because I just saw a comment from user number, however many long strands of numbers are there. Jesus, save me from your followers. Y'all, I can't wait to go see what comment that video's on. What video that comment's on. I can't wait. It's funny as fuck. I'm just going to say this. I don't understand why. I'm not complaining, okay? I don't understand why people want to comment stupid, hateful shit on a live, on a video, on a photo, on whatever it is. And here's why I don't understand that. Because, well, you know what? I guess they don't understand that when you when you comment on things like that, it raises that person in the algorithm. It raises them in the algorithm. So the vast majority of people, if you make a shitty comment, they're going to argue with you. And that's what they're looking for. Someone said, sad, lonely people looking for a reaction. That is 100% correct. They want someone to argue with them. They want them to argue. I was in a narcissistic marriage for a long time where I felt like all I did for almost 10 years of that 15 years was argue. And I just don't have time. I don't have time and I don't care. So I love when people push videos that they hate up in the For You page and in the algorithm by commenting on them. So it's kind of funny. Because if I don't like a video or I don't like a creator or I don't like, I just like, just scroll past. That's all you got to do. But you know, what do I know? I don't know anything. I don't know anything at all. Not a motherfucking thing about computers. Or gaming. Or algorithm. Or SEO. Or keywords. Or the Google gods. Or interaction. Or anything. Yeah, I don't know shit. I know nothing. All right. I'm going to quit being an asshole. Miss Sarah, you start off with the empty well. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, I had to. Then you also have the Moon Maiden, which is new beginnings. Then you have the Drifter, which is experiencing life as it comes. And then you have the Beloved and Radical Acceptance. And I want you to notice these two cards are extremely similar in their colors. So let's do the chit-chatting. The other thing I want you to notice is this is 41 and this is 14. So 4, 1, 1, 4. So you have a sandwich and you have the two things in the middle. In other words, patterns are a huge thing right now, Miss Sarah. Pay attention to them. And the thing is, too, there can be some times when things pop up with the universe and we realize it's a pattern. To us, it's a pattern. Other people may not see it as a pattern, but we do. Keep that in mind. And that's for all of you, not only Sarah, okay? Because there are some things that may be a pattern to you that when I look at them, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying right there. And there are going to be things that are a pattern to Brandon, that are a pattern to Lisa, that are a pattern to Sarah, that all the rest of us are like, you are on crack. That is not a pattern. Okay. I want you to keep that in mind, Sarah. What's a pattern to you may not be a pattern to someone else. The first card is self-explanatory. You cannot take from an empty well. You cannot get water from an empty well. I'm just going to say that. That's it. I'm just going to say that. I'm just saying what I'm saying. But here's the thing. With that Moon Maiden card right there, with that new beginnings, you have to make a change. You have to make a change. Having the empty well here and then the new beginning, and look at how different those are. It's not just you need rest, you need to replenish. It's not just that. It's that you have to make a change. The road you've been on, the path that you've been trotting down, it's not working. It's not working. There are a lot of times when we get on a certain path and we push forward on that path because that's what we want. And since that's what we want, we're not letting go of it. We're going to push forward on this fucking path no matter what. Like, this is what I want. And the universe can give us every single fucking sign and we're not listening. We're still going to push forward on that path. Been there, done that. Just saying what I'm saying, okay? Just learn from my mistakes. Eventually, the universe will smack you on your fucking ass. If you keep pushing down a path that either isn't for you right now or isn't for you, period, the universe will squarely sit you on your fucking behind. Usually with a massive goose egg in the middle of your forehead that just calcifies over your third eye. So then you can't connect either. It's like you get thumped on the head. If y'all never had an adult thump you on the head, A, then you are obviously not very old. And B, I'm jealous. But having an adult, I mean, I grew up in the 80s, late 70s and 80s, and I only had that happen one time to me, and in one time was all it took. One time, that was all it took. Them thumping you in the fucking head with that middle finger. Oh my God. I'm just saying what I'm saying. That's what the universe will do to you. If you don't listen and you keep trotting down this path that is making you be the empty well, the universe is going to sit you on your ass. And I have a feeling it already has been. This comes in the form of being completely drained. It comes in the form of everything you're manifesting, just running into roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. It's also things like losing a dream job, losing a relationship, having to move out of a home that you love, like just upheaval, okay? You have to make a change. You have to look at the path you're on and decide, do I really want to continue trying to claw forward on this path when it's not my path anymore? Our paths shift and change all the time. All the time. So when your path shifts or changes, it's okay. It's okay. Just go with it. There is not one single road in any state, any country that is completely straight the entire time. Unless it's like an alley, which is not a road. If you look at any road, it's going to end. It's going to curve. It's going to double back on itself, which is a curve. There is not one single fucking road that goes straight forever. Eventually, that road is going to come to a river. It's going to come to an ocean. It's going to come to a mountain. It's going to come to a canyon. It's going to come to a building. And it has to stop or turn. That's what happens to our path. And you may end up going around a building and getting right back on that same road. Here's a good example. The street I live on. You would think that the majority of Tulsa is laid out in a good grid, and it really kind of is compared to other places I've been. However, there are some areas which I don't fucking understand. The road that I'm on, the street that I'm on, it ends right here, okay? But if you were to go out to, I'll just show you. If you were to go out to the street right here, let's say this is the road, say this is my house, okay? Instead of just going directly across the street, you know, like a normal road, it's like that. You go down about half a mile and it's like that. Like there's no road that's straight. There's no road that is straight. Okay? None, not a single one. So you have to just go with the flow and experience everything as it comes and as it goes. Once you come to that, once you realize that you need to let go of this clawing forward on the street, I can try all I want to, and I am never going to make those two streets up there match. I'm never going to make them go straight. And I just can't think about it because my OCD gets pissed every time. I'm like, why the fuck can't you just make this one stretch of street straight? Why does it have to be cockeyed? Like, we're not going to talk about. Once you realize that you just have to let it go and just experience things as it comes, I promise, I promise, I promise, you will have this crazy, amazing acceptance of yourself, and you won't be stuck here again. Okay? Oh, sweetheart. I hope you have the day that you deserve. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Just saying what I'm saying, Miss Sarah. Man, I guess we are going through another phase of like intense, crazy scammer activity. They seem to go in waves, I've noticed. Like sometimes it's not super bad, and then other times, like right now, it's fucking insane, and I don't get it, man. If y'all put as much time and effort into something conductive as you do with scamming people, do you know the things you could accomplish? Like if you put that effort of making hundreds of fake accounts of creators that work really hard and that really care about their following, if you put half the effort, I can't even imagine what you could accomplish. Seriously, I can't even imagine what you could accomplish. I don't understand. I mean, I'll put you to work. I got a job. You can come work for me. No scamming required. All right, Randy. Here we go. No, that's not. You know what? That's how it came out. That's how it fucking came out. That's how it fucking came out. I shuffled. Y'all watch me shuffle. Y'all watch me shuffle. Ready? Ready? Randy, you start off with radical acceptance. Then you have the Feast of Plenty, which is choices and their consequences. This is the number 2, and this is the number 20. But then these two came out like this. Like I said, y'all watch me shuffle. You have the Moon Maiden and New Beginnings, and then you have the Empty Well. And they came out like that. That's why I was like, no. But I shuffled between every single card, so it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's talk, Randy. Let me say, first of all, I'm really proud of you. Because seeing this Beloved card and this Radical Acceptance right next to the Feast of Plenty, which is choices and consequences, you just made a really serious, intense, hard decision. Or you're in the midst of making it right now, but I have a feeling you already made it. When we have to make a decision like this is usually a life-altering decision. Really? And it's something that has to be made for you to be able to move forward. Physically, energetically, whatever. The radical acceptance is when we have to come to the realization that either something is irreparable or that for us to be happy or healthy or, continue to be alive, we have to leave a situation that's comfortable. We have to look at all of the choices, all of the consequences, all of the risk and reward for walking away from a situation, for anything. We have to look at the pros and cons of every single situation when we make a decision. But sometimes things are such a radical change that we don't have time to make all of that big old long list and look at all the pros and cons. And it just is what it is. It just is what it is. I'm proud of you for making the decision. I'm proud of you for moving forward. And I'm proud of you for not staying stagnant in a situation that you didn't need to be in. But these two cards have a completely different meaning than they did in the previous reading. And here's why. The first is this. They came out together like this. So this is how I'm going to read them. You have the Moon Maidens and the Moon Maiden and New Beginnings. And then underneath that, you have the Empty Well, which is time to replenish. So here is the problem with New Beginnings. We can get so addicted to a new beginning that we legit have a problem. Like we become addicted to that change, that new energy. Everybody loves something new, whether it's new clothes, new car, whatever. We all love something new. How many times do you see somebody that gets in relationship after relationship after relationship? They are all about that new beginning. They love the new beginning. They love the idea of having someone new and, you know, being in love. We get addicted to it to the point that we do it so much, there's nothing to stand on. There's no foundation left. Okay? So with this choice, with this change, with this shift, with this radical acceptance, be really careful that you don't get caught up in this habit right here. In this, not really habit, in this cycle. There we go. In this cycle. Oh my God. Cycle, bitch. Cycle. Make sure you don't get caught up in this cycle. Because when we have to make a humongous decision like this, a big, big choice that affects our life and everything and everyone around it, that new energy is just intense and insane, and we love it. Don't get caught up in making that change continually, or you are going to drain yourself, okay? Let this change ride for a little bit and enjoy where it's taking you, and then move to something else. All right, Miss Brandy? I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. It's kind of like, I'm proud of you. Be careful in going forward, okay? And now we're going to cut the deck. We're going to do all of these other things so these cards don't come up again the way they were coming up. All right, Miss Suzanne Horn. While I'm reading for Suzanne, I'm going to update my list because somebody, I don't understand why this says processing on here. So we shall see. Weird. Here we go, Miss Suzanne. Thank you, Queso. These are some of my favorite earrings. I got them a couple years ago at an oddities convention. So they are butterfly wings. They are not, okay, fine. They are not labradorite. Everybody thinks that they're lab. They are not. They are actual butterfly wings. If these were lab, they would be so fucking heavy. Even a thin slice of it, that they would be super heavy. I actually had people at the gem show that thought they were lab. I was like, no. I mean, I can see from the flash, you know what I mean? The way that they flash, where you would think that, but yeah, nope. They are actual butterfly wings. And they were ethically sourced. In fact, the person that makes these works at a butterfly sanctuary. And when the butterflies pass away of natural causes, then they do this with them to help raise money for the sanctuary. So I bought several pairs. All right. Ready, Miss Suzanne? She may have gone to bed already. So if you're watching on video, hi, I love you. I hope you feel better. And if you're here, hi, I love you. I hope you feel better. I know a lot of people right now are really, really sick, guys. So be taking your vitamins. And yeah, the flu is going around big time. COVID is going around again. Just you take care of you, okay? I'll have to find it, Lisa. Thank you for the train, Jade. I'll have to find the name of it. I've got her card somewhere. But it was like August of 2022. So I'll have to dig. I love boba. All right, Miss Suzanne, you start off with Stranger and Curiosity. Then you had two cards that came out together, and I think it's very interesting that they came out the way they came out, because on the top you have Resourcefulness, which is the number 29, and underneath you have Teachability and the Hollow Bone, which is 28. This card came out by itself earlier, so I know that they were not in the deck together like that. Then you have the Crossing, which is Initiation. I'm glad you heard me, Miss Suzanne. All right. What the fuck? I just realized too. You know how I just pointed out that this card is like 28 and 29 together? Your cards that flank the end are 53 and 54. Okay. Lots of numbers there, lots of serendipity, lots of signs, lots of patterns. Interesting. It's also like green, blue, and then brown, brown. Okay. Too many patterns. Too many patterns. That's, I'm just flabbergasted for a minute there. Miss Suzanne, I have a feeling that you've been seeing too many patterns lately. So let me say this. No, you're not crazy. Okay? No, you're not crazy. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm glad, Randy. When we start seeing a fuck ton of patterns, sometimes we start to think that we're crazy. We start to think, okay, you know, I could probably get grippy socks in every color of the rainbow and possibly rainbow. If you guys have never watched the movie 23 with Jim Carrey, I highly recommend it. I highly, highly recommend it. Okay? Highly recommend it. I'm just saying. But we get times when we get overwhelmed with patterns and with signs to the point where, like, you know, I understand, universe, so I don't know why you keep sending these things to me. Why are you overwhelming me? Why, like, it's a weird feeling. If you guys have never had this feeling, if you've never had so many fucking signs at one time that you're like, I am batshit crazy. You will. Let me just say that. You will. I was going to say then you're lucky, but no, you will. You will. You'll be there. Suzanne, this is your permission to absolutely fall down the rabbit hole. It is your permission to absolutely fall down the rabbit hole. Whatever the signs, the patterns, any of that, whatever any of that is that's coming up lately, this is your permission to fall down the rabbit hole. And to be honest, being home and sick in bed, what else would be better than falling down the rabbit hole on like Google, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is? Use all the resources at your disposal to fall down the rabbit hole. I mean, maybe you need a rappelling rope to come back up. I don't know, but I'm seriously giving you permission to fall down the rabbit hole. You're going to learn a lot more. Let me say how I was going to say it first. It doesn't really make sense, but it does at the same time. You're going to learn a lot more than you think you can by falling down the rabbit hole. That teachability card right there. Here's something that I'm always fascinated with as I move along my path. Quick little story time. But it'll resonate, I'm sure. I've been doing this for a long time. I grew up in a very unique way. I grew up with all kinds of weird stuff like this. All of this is normal to me, okay? I forget that sometimes, and I forget that not everybody literally lives this daily. But I'm still constantly surprised by spiritual shit. Constantly surprised. There is always, I swear here lately, it's on a daily basis. There is something or someone that physically comes across my path that I go, holy fuck, I didn't know that. What is that stone? What is that stone? You know, I mean, there's always something. So that's why I said this is your permission to fall down the rabbit hole, because it's going to lead you to things that you never knew existed. And it's going to start you on a completely different path. On a completely different path. And it's the path you're supposed to be on. Just because this is 53 and 54, and then you have 29 and 28 right here down the middle. Like, the universe is literally trying to show you every single step you need to take in this path. All the homework is to just fall down the rabbit hole. So what that leads me to believe is there is something that you've been thinking about researching, that you've been thinking about falling down the rabbit hole, that you've been thinking about learning about, whatever, that's going to change where you think you're going on your path. I, for a while, really wanted to work as a death doula and to help with a lot of those things. And I was taking some classes. I still have the class, the class is sitting there. I need to finish, but I stopped because I had all of these other things that kept popping up and piling on me. And I know that that's not my path, and that's why all these other things popped up. So know that in falling down this rabbit hole and learning about all these other things, there's a lot of initiation there, and there's a lot more curiosity than you realize. Okay? There's a lot more. The rabbit hole doesn't just go straight down. It goes to the bottom and branches out into 90 tunnels, which branch out into 90 more tunnels. Like, give yourself permission to get lost down the rabbit hole. Okay? And know that whatever it is you decide to do, whatever it is you start learning, it is an initiation. It is an initiation into you finding a completely new path to walk. And I will say this has nothing to do with work. This has nothing to do with work. I feel like most of the time when I read for you, it's about your work situation. So thankfully, there's nothing. That's what you've been thinking of for the last few days. There's your confirmation. There's your fucking pattern. Thank you for the swan, Josh. There's your pattern, Suzanne. There's your sign. There's all the things. Just saying what I'm saying. Damn, I haven't been there in a week. I mean, man, the Schumann is doing some crazy shit. It was at 34%. Now it's back at 21%. Good Lord. All right. Miss Mary. Miss Mary, Mary, Mary. Ugh. Yeah, it's going a little crazy. Hello there in Pennsylvania. You have kitties being born? Oh my God. You are so welcome. You are so welcome, Suzanne. I really hope you feel better, honey. I'm so sorry that you're sick. Want some? No. I mean, yes, but no. All right. Here you go, Miss Mary. Ready? There's a lot of interesting numbers here. You start off with number 55, which is the furthest gate and a bold step forward. Then you have the number 33 and joyful music. Then you have the number 19, which is spiritual narcolepsy. And then you have the number 22, which is fool's embrace. Transmuting pain. Miss Mary, it's time for you to make a bold decision. It's time for you to not only make a bold decision, but to move forward with that bold decision. A lot of times we make a bold decision in here, maybe in our mind, and we're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And then we don't do it. Or we wait until the perfect time. Okay. The problem is if you keep waiting for the perfect time, Miss Mary, then you won't do it. You won't do it because there's never going to be a more perfect time than right now to start on whatever path it is that you're starting on or you want to start on. You are never too old to change. You are never too young to change. You are never too old to learn more, and you are never too young that you've learned everything. First of all, it's physically impossible to learn everything. But here's the thing I want you to make sure that you know. When you take this massive step forward and you find your inspiration as you are terrified and moving forward with it, know that there's going to be a lot of times that you're going to feel like you are sleepwalking through it. That spiritual narcolepsy card right there tells me that it's kind of like all of the energy hits at first and then goes up like that. So we get this like spiritual narcolepsy, falling asleep spiritually kind of thing. When that happens, you're going to have a lot of pain that's going to need to be transmuted into something better. I literally would just wrap it right back up into that. I would go through all of these steps and phases until you get to this transmuting pain, and I would literally turn it into motivation to keep moving forward on this path, because it's obviously a really intensely creative path that you're supposed to be on. Yes, it comes with a little bit of a downfall to your spiritual path. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. But if you can take that pain and transmute it literally right back into that bold step forward, you can kind of keep this cycle going in a really good way. Okay? The other thing is this. I'm really loving the numbers like 55, 33, 22. The only one that's different is 19. I think you're going to have some massive success in the next few weeks with whatever this bold step forward is that you are. It's almost like I can see your foot, you know, like here's the path and it's like this, and you're kind of ready to step all the way, but you're not. You're just like that. Step down, honey. Step onto that path. Go move forward. Play all the music. Paint all the canvases. And know that you're going to feel very disconnected. But if you get to the point where you're transmuting all that pain, you can literally turn it right back into that. Right back into that passion and that moving forward. but you have to make the first decision. You have to make the first decision, and you have to make the first move forward. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Okay? Yours is kind of short and sweet. Make the decision. Be bold in it. Be joyous in it. Be loud in it. Find inspiration in that change, and know that it's going to disconnect you spiritually from the path you've been on. It's a good cycle to be on. It just means that you're going to have times where you're going to feel like you're completely and utterly disconnected from every other path that you've been on. Okay? So, yeah. Does that help, Miss Mary? I'm so glad, Nikki. I'm so, so glad. So I know I have Laura, Abra, and Misty. For some reason, Caroline is saying that it's still processing. But I'm just going to refund you last 3 really quickly, because this whole sugar thing up and down. Yes, I did eat dinner. You've been feeling it for a bit. Good. I'm so glad, Miss Mary. I'm so glad. Sometimes we know we have to make that step forward. We have to move, but it's hard. I totally get it. I am the epitome of dragging my feet with some stuff. I'm also the epitome of the workaholic, but yeah, 5 Capricorn placements don't always do you really, really well. Just saying what I'm saying. So yeah, I get a little too stubborn with some things, and I'm like, no, this is what I'm doing. And the universe says, no, bitch, that is not what you're doing. This is what you're doing. Me and the universe have been fighting right in their faces for a little bit. Just saying. So let me go in here, and I'm just going to refund you guys while I'm thinking about it right now. Oh my God, Stripe is a butt. You are so welcome, Miss Mary. I love it that I've been away from my computer long enough that it's logged me out of everything. So yeah, I'm going to refund you last 3. And if you guys would like to get a ticket for this weekend or something, please feel free. But yeah, my sugar self and my energy just went, and I want to make sure that you guys get the best reading that you can from me. So yeah. So let me end YouTube over here.